living the dream? It's time for True. This is the place for tools, power, and real talk so you can create the life you dream and deserve. Your ultimate life. Subscribe, share, create. You have infinite power.
Hey there, welcome to this episode of Your Ultimate Life. Now, I've got a kind of funny title for this one. I called this one Big Cash or Big Disappointment. And I even got a little subtitle, so I'm going to read it to you. How to Create Money Without Losing Your Soul by Living with Purpose, Power, and Fearless Service. Wow. So you and I, we all want to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? And you notice this thing behind me, there's one arrow right here by this shoulder. It's got disappointment, and I'm hoping you're watching this. And the other one is creating value, and it goes to the sunlight, and this goes to some dark and dreary wilderness or sunlight, right? So we're all at a crossroads every day, and some crossroads are bigger than others. Yeah, okay. But you're all always at a crossroads. And the reason is because every choice that you make right now creates a fork in the road. Now, maybe you're a sci-fi fan and you've seen those things about parallel universes and all that cool stuff. That's fine. And the idea is that every time you make a choice, you create a new branch in the universe. Because if there was a different choice, you would go down a different road, right? I wrote a song once called Wandering and Wondering. And it's actually on Spotify if you want to hear it. But it says, I always wondered what would have been different if I'd taken that other roadway way back when. What would have happened if I'd taken the other roadway way back when? And we can't know, and we don't know. And often thinking we do know causes a lot of pain, because then we end up saying, well, if only I'd X. And we assume that if we'd taken another road, a lot of other things would have happened too. And so this isn't really the topic of today, but I want to tell you something. That's fantasy, it's stupid, and you can stop. Because you have actually no idea what would have happened down that other road. You make up a story. If I'd said yes instead of no, then, and then you make up a story about what else would have happened, but you have no idea. Past the yes or the no. You and we say what we think would have happened, and that's kind of useless. So you can stop doing it, because that's wasted energy. What's past is past. The question that matters right now for big cash or big disappointment is, given what is, what do I wish to create? So I'm standing at this junction right now, right here, and I have the opportunity to go to big light, beautiful light there, or kind of a dark and uncertain whatever, right? So do you. So do you right here, right now. And you can live like Groundhog Day, same day over and over again, disappointing, barely getting by. How many of those days do you have where you're like, oh, man, I wish today was over. Man, I hope I just get through. I hope I tough it through this day, this week, this month. And then next month's the same. And once in a while, there's a good one. Oh, good. Oh, won't happen again. Hasn't happened for a month of Sundays. That kind of phraseology. Well, you're setting yourself up for big disappointment. You're creating it. You're living addicted to mediocrity. And you can get pissed off because I said that, but it's true, because you have the ability to create whatever you want. And every breath you take, you're standing at this fork that's behind my chair. There's the dude, right? Kind of looks like me. Even got a little bald spot. Look at that. There's the dude. At least he's looking toward the light. You're drawn by light. So am I. Light represents happy. Light represents joy. It represents doing. It represents success, achieving, loving, being loved. Yet, most of our choices are made from a place of fear. I'm afraid of what someone will say or what they will think. If I start a business, I might fail and then I'll waste some money. I'm afraid of this and afraid of that. And oh, I love you. You don't need to be stuck in that horrible place. Boldly make your choice and move. And once you've made a choice, do not second guess. What you can do instead is really important, because we make choices that turn out to be not what we thought all the time. One way to look at that is, oh, I suck, that was stupid, I wish I'd X. Useless, stop it. Another thing to do is, oh, this isn't what I meant. What adjustment can I make now? Because as soon as you've made a choice, you've taken a step or 2 or 10 down the road. It's in front of the dude back there. And so you're not at this junction, you're at one further down. And so the only question that matters is, what can I do now, given where I am? You might say, well, I need to turn around and walk back where I was and go down the other road. That's fine, but that's still an adjustment. That is not redoing the other decision. And when you get back there to take the other road, it'll look different. You're a different person. The timing is different. Everything is different. Every decision is forward-facing, not backward-facing. If I can give you that and rivet it to your heart, your head, your mind, your soul, it is so powerful. Every decision is forward-facing. Now, here's why that's important. I've made a ton of mistakes in my life. You've heard many of the stories here on the show about my addictions and failures and divorces and on and on and on and on and on. I can't fix any of those. Decisions I make now, I make the best I can. I might be choosing to or trying to repair, to build relationships, mend fences, and do those kinds of things. And I am, but they're taken today, because there's no way you or I can go back and make a different decision, right? So even if you're trying to fix a mistake of the past, it's still a forward-facing decision. What can I do today to apologize, to make amends, to mend fences, to do something? So if you take into your heart in the idea of big cash, big disappointment, disappointment is almost always a function of yesterday or yesterminute, as it were. The last minute didn't go well, or hour or day or week or decade or whatever, and I am now disappointed. Waste of time, stupid, useless emotion. Instead, say, I'm offering this as an alternative. I'm not telling you what to do, but I find that to be stupid and wasted, because then it builds resentment and you get mad at yourself and you get shame or rage at somebody else, a whole bunch of useless emotions. If you find yourself in a place where the shit has hit the fan because of something you did or somebody else or some unexpected thing, the only question is, what's now? What do I do now? It didn't go like I wanted. That's true. That's still the same. The next thought is critical. And I'm pissed at, and why didn't so-and-so, or why did I XYZ? Useless. So I invite you with all my heart instead to say, wow, it's not like I want it. What can I do now? Now, if you want the PhD version of that, do that without drama. Okay? The drama is, oh, it's not like I want. Frick, what do I do? Oh, I wish I'd this, the stupid. That drama multiplies by 10 the weight, the power, the negative power of the situation. It's awful. It's terrible. Eat your lunch over and over and over again. So don't do that. The first version is teeth clenched. What do I do now? With a bit of drama, if you haven't learned to undrama. When you practice more, you'll realize the drama does nothing except slow you down, weigh you down, and invite you into backwards-looking stuff. Blame, shame, rage, guilt, revenge. It's looking backward, and you may want to take a future action, but it's rooted in this past stuff. When you get skilled at this, you just don't have any drama. Oh, wow. Holy crap, that's not what I wanted or expected. What do I do now? What do I do now? And the more excited and bright and happy you can get about that question, the more powerful the answer is. And I promise you that every time, without exception, no failures. I'll give you an example. It happened to me in 2018, December, 4 months after I died and got out of the hospital. And if you want to read that story, that's in Meeting God at the Door, Conversations, Choices, and Commitments of a Near-Death Experience. I contracted a fatal illness and died and had conversations and wrote a book about it. Amazing. Revelations, it's changed my life, and yes, all that good stuff, but that isn't today's topic. 4 months later, after I'd got out of the hospital, I was in a coma for 17 days after my heart was restarted, and I'd lost 35 pounds, and I lost all my muscle mass and couldn't walk, and on and on and on, like you'd expect, right? And I had a ravaging illness that ruined my lungs and blah, blah, blah. But after a month, I got out of the hospital, and I got home and was in long-term physical recovery, trying to learn to walk and do all that stuff. And 4 months later, the morning of December 5th, so maybe it's 5 months later, I went in June, got out in July, so August, September, October, November, December, 4.5, 5 months later, right? I woke up on the morning of December 5th, paralyzed from the waist down. Now, remember, I'm 5 months into learning to walk and barely, taking care of myself, and was making good progress and was really happy with it. Yay. And I woke up paralyzed, like I didn't know it. And so I tried to get out of bed, and I fell on my face, splat on the carpet, right? And I thought, that's weird. And so I tried to get up, like on my hands and knees, flap on my face on the carpet. Finally, I realized I couldn't move anything below the waist. So I was paralyzed from the waist down. I'm not going to tell the whole story. If you want the whole story, it's in a different book called Walking Without Fear. Meeting God at the Door was what happened in the summer, and Walking Without Fear was in December. But anyway, called the ambulance. I'm in a lot of pain, paralyzed from the waist down. I'm 5 months after the hospital, thinking I'm on my way to recovery. And the first thought could have been, why is this happening? I just died and recovered and made a choice to come back. And like, what is going on? And it could have easily been the road to disappointment, rage, and anger. And I was in a lot of pain. And I was in the back of the ambulance. And if you want all the details, read the book, Walking Without Fear. But I had an amazing experience there. And it led me to the question that I'm going to share with you. And that is this: what is the gift here? In other words, I consciously and intentionally refused to be mad, to look at this as a punishment, a negative thing, or anything other than a gift. And so out loud, I said, what is the gift here? And then everything changed. When you ask that question, your whole consciousness changes, right? And so then I had the whole conversation with myself from the perspective of gift. And that's forward looking. So it has to do with exactly what we're talking about. Now, we've laid a good bit of groundwork for the idea of disappointment, disconnecting from the past, getting rid of the drama. Now, let's talk about big cash, okay? The books that you can read that will help you are the Book of Context, Walking Without Fear, Meeting God at the Door, Living with Purpose and Power, several things, several books that I've written, because every book I've written has come from my own experience. Now, here's what I want to tell you. We are built to love and serve. You're not born to settle. You're not born to live in mediocrity. You were born to create. And money is one of the sacred rewards of serving well. Now, I understand there's a lot of crooks and a lot of money and a lot of cheating and a lot of, but that's not you, and I'm not talking to them. So you were born to create. You were born to serve. You were born to develop and magnify your gifts and talents. And if you don't know how to find your purpose, then you should talk to me. I've got a book coming out, or maybe it'll be out by the time you see this. No, it won't, but it'll be out shortly in the fall of 25 called Masterpiece. And it's about how to find your purpose, exactly specifically how to find it. Okay. When you're driven by purpose, work isn't work, every day's a joy, and you discover new and powerful ways to both change lives and make money. Change lives and make money. That's down this road here with the bright sun. You are built to go there. You are built to win, to love, to create, to serve, to make cash, big cash. But you have to do the work, because it doesn't come in a box from Amazon. It doesn't get delivered that way. You're not born to settle, you're born to serve. And getting the reward of money, all that does is it's fun because you get to buy another shirt or a jacket or maybe a new car or something. Fine. But then what you really want it for is to serve more, because what it does is it lets you turn up that light. It lets you create more products, services, programs, speak to more people so you can be more. You become more powerful, more joyful, more effective. You eliminate your doubts and fears. They go away. So, but it takes work. And so if you want to choose between big cash and big disappointment, you have to decide, I'm going to the side of the sunshine. Oops, I'm going to the sunshine. I'm going to the sunshine. That's me. I'm going there. Now, you're going to find disappointment. You fell on your face, and maybe you picked a wrong road for a minute, and you're going to have to make some adjustments. Me too. You too. So what? It's like the back of the ambulance. So what's the gift here? What do I learn? What can I do? And I'm going to do it with joy, because this life is built for us. It's built for you and me to make the choices to create purpose, prosperity, and joy, which is what? Your ultimate life. It's what this whole show's about. You have the ability to live your ultimate life. So let's talk some more specifically. Let's talk more specifically about choosing big cash or big disappointment. If you chase money, you're going toward big disappointment. Money is not happiness. Money can't buy happiness. It allows you to buy stuff, and stuff's fun, but it's hollow in the end. How many rich people commit suicide or have drug problems or hate their spouses or do other stupid things? I mean, the news is full of them and full of them and full of them. There are some that are philanthropic and do good and add good to the world. And have you noticed they're the ones that seem the happiest? Have you noticed they're the ones that seem like they're content? The ones that are using cash for ostentatious displays and stupidity, they don't look content. They don't look happy because they're chasing things that aren't happiness. Flamboyant experiences don't create happiness. We talked a little bit ago about, going to the mountaintop to create an experience. But that's just a container. The work to happiness is in your heart. Always, every time, only, no matter what. Now let that sink in. External things will never get you happiness. Your happiness is within. Joy is a choice. You can create it in any circumstance, and asking what is the gift is one of the tools that I use to do that. Now, I want you to know, I want you to answer this for yourself. Are you chasing money? Stop. Instead, create money. What's the difference, Kellen? Chasing money is having money be your goal. The worship, you're joining the religion of money. It makes me cool. It makes me feel good. It gives me status and access and power. I need that. That energy is destructive. It won't last, and it won't motivate you over the long haul. And when you get to that place where you're surrounded by bags of cash, you'll be miserable and wondering where the happiness went that you thought was supposed to happen when you had cash. If, on the other hand, you create money by creating value, because money follows value. So if you create awesome value because of who you are and what you do, that brings joy. You know why? Because value creation comes from your purpose. It's easy to create value from your purpose. Now, let me give you some specific examples. I've got a friend that struggled for 30 years with cancer, overcoming it. He's a massive example of resilience and power and capability, and can and does help lots of people with the despair and struggle of illness. I know a lady who has struggled with infertility, and her goal with resilience and power is to both show resources and give courage and love and encouragement to people struggling with that thing. I know a woman who had 2 sons, and they were beautiful, middle-class home. Sons had addiction problems, both of them terrible. And her story of getting through that successfully after years of work. Resilience, hope, power, resources, capability. What a gift. Her sharing that creates what? Value. Now, if you don't know what you have that creates value, I have an invitation for you. Do you see this right here? DreamBuildWriteIt.com. Go to that website right now and sign up. Join the challenge. It doesn't even cost you anything, because there I'll teach you how to find your purpose from which you can create value, from which you can create and will create money. The feeling of creating value and therefore money and chasing money are completely different. They're not even sort of the same. Chasing money is misery. Creating value and serving and creating money is pure joy. So now I want to talk about something else. We're going to talk now about how to have both big cash and big impact. And I think they go hand in hand. Now, I'm fully aware about people who create money in bad ways. We're not talking about them, because that's not you. Here's how to have big cash and big meaning without lies, fear, or guilt. Here's some myths you need to get rid of. Money is evil. Spiritual people shouldn't talk about cash. Baloney. Deeper truth, money is a magnifier. Whoever you are and whatever you have, it gives you the power to magnify your impact and influence. You see that around you in good ways and bad ways. If you're a jerk, money makes you a bigger jerk. If you're kind, money makes you kinder and gives you opportunity to be more kind. You and I both know people right now that describes them to a T. Here's another myth. Sometimes fear of being judged or fear of being visible or seen keeps you from selling or scaling or growing. That is inner work, because you're a divine being. Your worth is infinite. God created you with love and kindness and gave you gifts and talents, and he gave them to you to use and bless others and make money because you're creating such value. Money's just a tool. And when you do great things for someone and they shower money on you because of gratitude, that's a holy and sacred exchange. Avoiding money doesn't make you good. It makes you useless. Hear me. Avoiding money, charging big bucks, serving, it doesn't make you a good person. It makes you ineffective. You can't reach people. And on the other hand, if I'm a coach. If you coach and you coach for free, people don't follow your direction anyway because it's for free. Well, I'll see. If they've paid you good money, they're listening. So you're not serving unless you learn to create cash. All right, so here's another thing I want you to read, and that is the results equation. The results equation is a book that I wrote. It's called From Dream to the Results Equation. It is a business book. It is built on the foundation of my consulting career, where I was in charge of $200 billion with a B dollars worth of projects successfully. The results equation is from dream to done in 5 simple steps. It has to do with creating products, building a business, overcoming personal challenges, changing your relationship. Any goal that you want follows 5 steps, 5 processes. They're not different. The actions themselves are different, but the 5 processes are the same. The results equation will give you the secret to do that. You can create results that feel like miracles if you follow the formula. I know I've done it. I do it. I am living proof of that. You know, my goal is to reach 300 million people. This year, I've got 6 months left. It's the middle of April as I'm recording this. You'll hear it at the end of May. I'm going to reach 300 million people. I don't care what I have to do. And I will, and I am, and I'm on track halfway through the year. I will do that because I love you. It is my commitment. In the process, I also create money. But the money is a recognition of the value I've created in people's lives, because the message is about your capability and possibility. Quit living in the shadows. Quit turning it down. Quit making excuses about why you're not capable and you can't love, serve, and have purpose, prosperity, which includes the money, and joy. The big disappointment road, right here, right? The big disappointment road, that comes when you devalue yourself. I'm not that good. I'm not finished yet. I haven't done anything. That's the road to big disappointment. The road to big cash is confidence, personal work, personal development work, because your most valuable gift to the world that you charge big money for is a combination of your skills, gifts, and life experience. Your triple helix. I don't have time on this podcast to go over the triple helix, but it is the proprietary, powerful, invincible method to finding and living your life purpose. And where does that lead? It leads to big, happy. It leads to big impact in the world, and it also leads to big cash. Not because you're greedy, but because you're powerful and you have created such value. Hear me. This was a hard thing for me to learn. All right, now I want you to do something else for me. I want you to create a vision of your prosperity. So we talk about purpose, prosperity, and joy. And when I ask people, what do you want? Often they'll say, I need more money. Okay. There's two really important questions. What does your perfect, prosperous, powerful life look like? Describe it to me in enormous detail. The sights, the smells, the sounds. What do you do? What time do you get up? What is your day full of? How are you serving? Like, get in the gory details. They're not gory, they're beautiful. And get them in such detail that they make you get goosebumps and tingle, because that connection creates power. Okay? Now I want you to create a vision of your prosperity, not just more cars, more money, more vacation, exactly what it looks like. It's so important. All right. The next thing is, now you got to make a plan, because, sometimes people misunderstand the law of attraction or those kinds of principles. They think if I just put a vision board up and just think it's going to show up, and it's not. Attraction, the last two syllables are action. You got to do stuff. But what to do becomes really clear when you have a clear vision, when you know exactly what you look like, what it looks like, what your life is like, and everything. Then the questions become simple. What can I do right here, right now, to take a step in the direction of that life? A step down this trail to the bright sun. What's a step you right now can take today? Is there someone you need to call? Is there an email you need to send? Do you need to talk to someone about that business you've been thinking about? Do you need to join dreambuildwriteit.com so I can help you find your story, create a product, serve, and make money, or write a book, or both? This kind of thing, this Dream Build Write, it's not even my main business. I'm a coach, but I've had so much fun and success writing and helping people discover their inner power, that juice, that I love doing it. And so it's something I do once or twice a year. So go there. Money doesn't come from hoping. It comes from, like we said, creating consistent value on purpose, all the time, with focus. So the focus on what? That vision of prosperity. Another vision you can have is, let's say you pinpoint how you like to help people based on your life experience, the struggles you've had. I have a client struggle with anger for decades. I have a client who, like I said, a cancer patient. I have another guy that struggled with self-esteem. He'd considered, ending his life sometimes. Those struggles give you a yearning to serve. That yearning to serve is the thing that lets you create this big vision of beautiful sunshine, purpose, prosperity, and joy. Turning it into cash simply comes from creating value with your experiences and story on a consistent basis. That's it. Now, if you're stuck about how to create value, we can fix that. If you're stuck about how to write a book or create a product, we can fix that. That process is well known. Those aren't the things that get in the way. The things that get in the way is your fear, your procrastination, and your self-sabotage. Now, here's another thing. You already have divine gifts. I don't know if you've developed them or if you're using them, but if you figure out what they are and you develop them and you use them to serve others in powerful ways, you create money. Those gifts that you have and I have were given to us to complete our purpose here and to have fun with it. Life's not boring, it's fun. And money is the reward for using your skills, your gifts, and your life experience to lift and bless the lives of others. Okay? That is how money is created, not chased. It's the difference between ego-driven success and mission-fueled wealth. Mission-fueled wealth is joyful, powerful, and uplifting. Ego-driven cash is empty and sad and leads to dark and dreary places. All right, so I want to talk about a little bit about mistakes that we sometimes make that can get us on the big disappointment road. Okay, here's one of them, some of them. Burnout. Burnout only comes when you don't have a purpose and you don't remind yourself every day. If you want to know how to create a purpose and have it drive your day every day, Living with Purpose and Power is the best book in the world, period. If you find yourself living without soul, success without your soul is like a prison, right? You become golden handcuffs. You become a prisoner of something that you don't love. So find what you love. Here's another mistake. Chasing somebody else's definition of success leads to big disappointment. Working in or scaling something that's not aligned with your own truth and meaning and being. Like you got to declare who the hell you are and then build in accordance with that. And you know where you find that? You find it in your life experience. What you stand for, what you believe in, really. You, not in nobody's permission, nobody's agreement. So chasing other people's stuff is a guaranteed loser. I have plenty of clients who have boatloads of cash and are empty. I'm an example. I had tons of success and I was empty. So empty it turned to, harmful things. So do the work to get your purpose. Go to dreambuildwriteit.com. Go to kellenflukigermedia.com and reach out and let's talk. Finding and choosing your own life purpose is the engine that will drive you to big cash and joy. Purpose, prosperity, and joy. I promise. You have it and you can do it. I don't know if you're willing to do the work. But if you're here and you want to get here, I don't care what the goal is, there's always a road. There's always a road. The only question for me and you is, are we willing to walk the road, do the work, the inner work that's most important of love, compassion, forgiveness, changing who we are, learning to tell the truth, eliminating old beliefs and stories. When those are gone and we love ourselves and we've eliminated all the negative beliefs and we've forgiven everybody, everything, and nothing's in the way, doing your life work is fun. There's no work about it at all. It's joyful. It's jazzed up. And you can do it every day. I know I live that way and I help people do it too. But the inner work of that forgiveness and love and changing the stories, there's the work. Okay? Okay. Here's the final point. Your purpose, your big calling, as it were, that's the first ticket. You find it by using your triple helix, your skills, your gifts, and your life experience. There you will find your big purpose. You have to choose it and commit to it. Using that to love and serve will create big cash for you. And it will also create joy. You were born for prosperity, not poverty. The only thing that keeps you broken physically, spiritually, financially, or otherwise is your mindset or your unwillingness to do the work. If you're willing to do the work and you're willing to change your mindset and lean into your divinity, capability, and possibility, you can have anything you want, and that's a promise. Don't settle for crumbs. Don't allow yourself to settle for crumbs. Take action, even if the action right now is getting one of those books or getting a hold of me or joining dreambuildwriteit.com. But don't sit there and stay where you're at unless you're perfectly happy where you're at. But most of you aren't, and I declare that boldly. So take bold action. One step right now, and one more tomorrow, and one more tomorrow. And focus on, how do I create value? How do I find and lean into and love this calling that I know I have, and I've felt it, that vague feeling. Maybe it's a powerful feeling sometimes. You have it. If you listen, you lean in, you will create not only purpose, because it'll drive you, you will create prosperity in every meaning of the word, and you will live your life in a bubble of joy every day. I call that living your ultimate life.
Never hold back and you'll never ask why. Open your heart and this time around.
Right here, right now. Your opportunity for massive growth is right in front of you. Every episode gives you practical tips and practices that will change everything. If you want to know more, go to kellenflukigermedia.com. If you want more free tools, go here, yourultimatelife.ca. Subscribe, share.
Stand with your heart in the sky and your feet